Question 15. The diagram shows two identical parallelograms and the coordinates of four vertices. Find the coordinates of the vertices marked A, B and C. So the important thing to remember here that these parallelograms are identical. This one and this one they are exactly the same. And it's given us the coordinates of four vertices. Well, the vertices are the corners. So this corner here is the same as this corner here on that shape. This one is positioned 11, 7, and this one is at 19, 7, and so on. We have to find the point A, which is here, B at there, and C down here. Our answers go at the bottom, and they've already started them for us because coordinates have to be written in brackets, always with a comma in between. So let's start at looking at A then. So I'm going to look at the other coordinates, what coordinates they've given me to help work this out. So I want to find out where it is on the x-axis, because the x must come first, and then the y-axis, how far across, and then how far up or down. You can remember that by saying across, across the corridor and up or down the stairs, or you could remember it by saying x, y, z. Of course x comes first because it comes first in the alphabet. So we were looking at point A here. So how far across is it on the x-axis? So it can't be at 19 because this point is at 19. So we're looking to find what this point is here. If we have a look at the top one, this corner, on the x-axis, this is also at 19. So if it starts at 19 here on the x-axis, it then comes down here and is still at 19. So that means that is a nice straight line. Both of these points hitting the x-axis at 19. This one says the x-axis is at 11. So it's going to be exactly the same. 11, because these two lines of the parallelogram are going to be exactly the same because they're identical. I'm then looking for the y-axis, so this is how far up it is. So this is going up to 7 on the y-axis, and this is also going up to 7 on the y-axis, so that means these corners are exactly the same height. So if these are exactly the same height, they start at the same position on the y-axis. When they come down, they're going to end on the same position, which is -1. So A is going to be 11 minus 1. B. So this point here is exactly the same as that point there on that shape. So you can see from what we learned earlier, these y-axes, they've not gone up or down, they're both at 7. So that means the shape hasn't moved up or down. So the y-axis of B is going to be exactly the same at 9. However, the shape has moved across the x-axis. So we need to find how far across this shape is. So how do we find that distance here? Well, we've got this distance, that was 11 on the x-axis, and we've got this one, which was 19 on the x-axis. So the difference between these two, I have to add 8. So that means I'm going to do exactly the same for these points here. So 13 add 8 will give me 21. So this must be at 21 on my x-axis. Vertice C, this little corner. So now I have to figure out my x-axis and my y-axis. So this line is exactly the same as this line because it's a parallelogram. So that means that this on the x-axis going across was at 19, and this was also at 19. So that means it's going down in a nice straight line, as we said. This was at 11, straight line down to 11. So that means that this one is going to be exactly the same because it's going down in a straight line. So this is 21. We now need to work out our y-axis. So as you can see, it has moved down from this point here, and we need to think how far down has it moved. So this coordinate is going to help us with this. So we need to find out how long this side is to figure out how far it's gone down. So we can use this to help us, how far this has gone down, because this side is the same as this side, and this side is the same as this side. So we could use 7 down to -1. So 7 down to -1, I had to take away 8. Could have done the same here. 7 down to -1, we said, would have been take away 8. So this side is 8 long. So 9 take away 8 takes me to 1. And that's all done there. So we have 3 coordinates, coordinate A, B and C. And we get, it's a 6-mark question, so we get 1 mark for each of those.